Hi everybody, I'm Kristen Watson. I'm on the soprano roster for Emmanuel Music, who is hosting this late night summer series of concerts, which I'm extremely grateful to be a part of. Emmanuel Music in particular has been so supportive of its musicians since the shutdown of all these performances began last March. So just that they would put forth this music series is something that I'm incredibly honored and grateful to be able to be a part of. It's a way for us to continue to have our voices being heard. So at the beginning of the pandemic, my husband and I went out and bought a fancy new professional microphone, thinking this would be a good way to try to stay relevant during this time and continue to be singing and have some creative projects. One of the first things we did was to record some art songs by a composer friend of mine named Eric Sawyer, and you'll hear more from him later in the program. Uh, Amongst some other projects of our own, and then also I was playing around with this app called Acapella, which is an app that will allow you to splice a bunch of recordings into one track. And so I was having a lot of fun just playing around with that a little bit with different pieces that I could splice several parts of my voice together into one track. So with all of this, I thought maybe it would be fun to try to create a Bach aria. And it would be the perfect sort of project for this Emmanuel Music summer series. So when it came to choosing a piece to do, I thought, well, I'm definitely going to need to try something that's a little bit on the slower side, with a small orchestration to it. And one piece that came to mind to me, something that I have listened to for a long time, since her recording came out in the early 2000s with Emmanuel Music, is Lorraine Hunt Lieberson's interpretation of Bach's well-known solo cantata for voice called Ich habe genug. It's BWV 82. And luckily there's also a soprano key of it, but I thought the orchestration is pretty small, just two violins, a viola, and a bass line. The soprano key didn't necessarily make the bass line any easier for me, but I was able to rewrite some sections to make it work. And essentially what we did was just to record all of the orchestral parts first, splice them together, and then we did an audio and video recording of me singing the soprano line in one take. So I am extremely grateful to my amazing and talented husband, Eric Reustle, who had the formidable job of splicing all of these parts of me singing together into one track. And so after you hear the piece, we'll give you a little bit of insight together into that recording and editing process. But first things first, I wanted to make sure that you had a translation of the aria I'm about to sing. So let me pull up this translation, which was done by Pamela Dalal, who's a longtime family member of Emmanuel Music, and has done all of the translations for the cantatas on the website. So this is the translation for, again, it's the central aria to BWV 82. The aria is called Schlummert Ein, matten Augen, and a quick translation for you. Fall asleep, you weary eyes. Close softly and pleasantly. World, I will not remain here any longer. I own no part of you that could matter to my soul. Here I must build up misery, but there I will see sweet peace, quiet rest. So if you haven't heard this cantata in its entirety, I would definitely recommend it just so that you can get the entire scope of what this particular aria comes from. And of course, I recommend Lorraine Hunt Lieberson's interpretation with Emmanuel Music. So for now, we hope you enjoy this unique rendition of Bach's Schlummert Ein, matten Augen from BWV 82. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed it and wanted to give you a little glimpse into our makeshift recording studio here. So Eric actually has been on the board of Emmanuel Music for the last 8 years or so, and is a former musician himself. He has a degree in horn performance from the San Francisco Conservatory, and I'm extremely grateful that he is here to help me put together this gigantic project. So Eric has essentially been the one to take all of the recording parts and mix and master them into one cohesive recording, and without him, there's no way this would have happened.
Yeah, and this has been a really great process for me. A lot of people during these times are recording from home now and learning this for the first time as a way of continuing to reach their audiences and trying to continue to work. This is a first for me, and so we got a new microphone. We recorded the entire thing here from our office with one microphone and a computer, and it's been a steep learning curve, but a lot of fun. I've had a great time working with Kristen.
Yeah, so we've had a great time, but we wouldn't say it hasn't been without challenges along the way. Some of those things being, well, for one, we had to figure out some creative time frames to record. We are out here in Upton, so it's pretty far removed from the city, but, even though we don't have a lot of city traffic noise, we have lots of loud and noisy motorcycles running on the weekends and those sort of things. So that was one. Also, just for me, some of the musical challenges, I had mentioned before about recording the bass line in particular, that there was a lot that I had to sort of rewrite to fit into my range. Also along those lines, I realized there were some sections in the score where the violins and viola would drop out and just would have the continuo line, and I thought, I really need to try to realize that continuo. So luckily I had good inspiration, again, from the Lorraine Hunt Lieberson CD that she recorded with Emmanuel Music. And I believe our very own Michael Beatty is playing organ on that recording. So I was able to draw a little bit of inspiration from that. And thank you, Michael, for your help there. Let's see, other things. Reading the viola part was, I had forgotten that would be written in alto clef, and that's not a clef that I tend to read very often, so just relearning about how to read there. And, mostly just making sure as we were recording the orchestra that I really wanted to try to make my voice channel the sound of each instrument as much as I could. So violins, great, you want to make a violin sing, so I felt like that felt a little natural for me to do, but for an organ that I wanted to get maybe a little bit more of a straight tone, an airy sound, or with the continuo to really get good rhythmic phrasing as we went. So all in all, I would really recommend this process to all of my singer colleagues out there, because it was such a great experience for me to really learn all of the inner parts of this thing cold. It just made me know the score that much better and hear all of the really cool choices that Bach made throughout. So with that, we hope that you are asking us questions on the chat feature, which we're available on tonight to answer. And we have one more piece that we wanted to close the program out with. This is a song by a composer friend of mine named Eric Sawyer, who I mentioned earlier in the program. He and I have been working together for the last few years. I would say the first project that I did with him was playing a role in his opera, The Scarlet Professor, which happened a few years back. And since then, I've been working with him on some of his art song repertoire. And this particular piece comes from a set of his called 13 Popular Songs, which are written in a classical style, yet have an overtly pop sort of feel to them. And I always appreciate singing this kind of music because I grew up doing a lot of crossover music, and it feels good to experiment in different genres a bit. This particular song is the closing number of that set. It's called Silver Wings. And the lyrics of this really spoke to me at this time. They're just essentially describing, even though we're in this time where maybe some things are lost to us right now, that if you close your eyes, those things are always with you in your mind. And in that way, it's as if they're always with us in our hearts. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining us. And here is Silver Wings by Eric Sawyer.
Looking up, you see the silver line, silver wings up against the sky, heading east against the setting sun. Day is done, but they must fly tightly bound in close formation, high above the waves, wrapped in silent concentration. As the daylight fades, up above you see a silver line, silver wings up against the sky, heading east against the falling sun. Day's done, but they must fly. Hovering on the horizon, they blur with sky and sea, gone from sight but not from vision. Close your eyes, you'll see. In your mind you see the silver line, silver wings against the sky, heading east to seek a rising sun. Day's done, but they must fly.
Hi, this is Ryan Turner, Artistic Director of Emmanuel Music. Thank you all so much for joining us in this unique series of late night summer sessions. And to all our musicians, a warm debt of gratitude for curating, recording, and presenting these projects. And also to Brad Dumont, the technical genius behind the scenes that made all of this happen. Just a reminder to our listeners that you will have until the end of August to view any of the late night sessions again or any that you missed on our website. I look forward to being in touch with all of you soon to let you know what our fall exciting concert plans are and to let you know that we will begin cantatas again on September 20th in some form. Until then, thank you, stay well, stay safe.